Hello everyone. Today I'm going to start with the quadratic equation. In this presentation, you are going to learn what is quadratic equation and how do you make the factors or how do you solve for the quadratic equation. Now before starting the quadratic equation, just have a look on linear equation. How do you define the linear equation? Okay, let me give you some example. The linear equation, you can write some like 2x plus 5 equal to y, or 4x plus y equal to 8, or maybe 2y minus 9 equal to 15. So these are the example of linear equation. In linear equation, how do you define that the variable in the equation has the power as 1, or the another way it is says as degree of the equation is 1. Now what about the degree of the equation is 2? Like just look at the example. It is 2x square plus 5x minus 3 equal to 0. Maybe x square minus 2 equal to 0, or maybe 3x square plus 8x equal to 0. Now, what is the common thing you see here? I see that the x has the highest power as 2. So, the degree of the equation is 2. So, this type of equation is called quadratic equation. So the standard format of quadratic equation, I can write it as ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay, so this equation, this type of format is called quadratic equation. Now let's have a look at an example. Okay, before that, okay, see, the c is a constant and b is the coefficient of x, which is also again a constant. A is a coefficient of x square, which is again also a constant. So like the term, if it is 2x square plus 3x plus 5 equal to 0, so here my a equal to 2, b equal to 3, the coefficient of x, and what is c? That is equal to 5. So in this type of problem, in this type of equation, if I have b equal to 0, so b equal to 0, so my equation can be 2x square plus 5 equal to 0. Is this quadratic equation? Yes, it is quadratic equation because the highest power of x is still x to the power 2. Now let's make c equal to 0. So the equation is going to be 2x square plus 3x equal to 0. Is it still quadratic equation? Yeah, it is, because you have the still highest power of x is 2. Now, if I make a equal to 0, what do I get it? I get 3x plus 5 equal to 0. Now, is this my quadratic equation? Yes, you are right. It is not a quadratic equation because a is 0, so then x is ax square, the whole term gets 0, and now the highest power or the degree of the equation I got as 1. So this is not the quadratic equation. Okay, so for the quadratic equation, a should not be equal to 0. This is the important thing here. Okay, now let's go over the example. So example 1, x square plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Now I'll tell you the two ways. Whichever way you like it, you can use it. So the first way is you have to make the factors of 6 in such way. Okay, first make the factor of 6. Okay, so what factor you can think of? Okay, I can think of 1 and 6. And the another factor which I can think of is 2 and 3. Now, these two factors, I have to make the factor in such way that when I add these two factors, I should get the coefficient of x, that is b. I should get, that means in this problem I should get 5. So if I add 6 and 1, I get 7. So I don't get 5, so that doesn't work out. And if I add these two, 2 and 3, I get 5. So that works out here. Oh, I'm sorry. That works out here. Okay, so this works out here for me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, this equation I can write like this: x plus something. I can make two factors because x has two solutions, so I can make, because the degree of the equation is 2, what does it mean? That x has two values. So x plus this equal to 0. Now I got, so what are the two values I can make it here? 2 and 3. So just make it x plus 2 and x plus 3. So now if I just do the reverse way, just solve it out and then see whether you get the same equation or not. So it's like you are multiplying this x plus 2 with the x plus 3. So I can do the FOIL method, or I can tell you the another method, like x, you multiply with the x and then x with 3. It's like x with the x plus 3. So x with the x plus 3, it gives me x square plus 3x. Now I'm multiplying plus 2 with the x plus 3. It looks a little messy, but I think you will understand better. So now what I get it, x square plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Okay, so the factors which I got it as x plus 2 and x plus 3. So this is my first way to solve it out. Okay, now look at the another way to solve the same problem. Now in this way, what I'm going to use, okay, I'm going to make the factor of this term and the constant term. So here x and x, because x square I can write x and x only, x times x is x square. Again for 6 I have to think in that way. Okay, now just look at it. The 6, again you have the factor 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Fine. So if I write 1 and 6, now if I do the cross product and add it, it should give me 5x. So 6x plus x, it is giving me 7x. So this is not my factor. So I'm just going to avoid it. Now which one I'm going to use it? 2 and 3. Let's try with 2 and 3. Do the cross product and then add it. It's like 2x plus 3x equal to 5x. So I got my 5x. So that means the 2 and 3, when I multiply, it gives me 6, and when I do the cross product and add it, it gives me 5x. So these are the two factors which can satisfy the, these are the two factors I can make for this quadratic equation. Okay, now how do I write it? In this box, how do I write my factors? I'll just combine this and this and write it. It's x plus 2, x plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so now look for the one more example. Example 2, x square minus x plus 6 equal to 0. Now the first way, when I use it, again I have to make the factor of 6, which when I add it, it should give me, okay, 6 times 1 is plus 6, and the another factor is plus 3 and plus 2, that gives me plus 6. Okay, now when I add these two, it should give me negative 1. Okay, so now 6 plus 1 is giving me 7. Even if I do 6 minus 1, it is giving me 5. So no. Then now see. Oh, I'm sorry, this problem is with a negative sign. X square minus 6 equal to 0. Okay, so now for the minus 6, what should be the factor? It can be either minus 6 times 1 or minus 1 times 6. But when I add these two, I don't get negative 1. So here, when I try with this, negative 3 and 2, so negative 3 plus 2, it gives me negative 1. Okay, so that's why I have to take these two terms like that, which gives me negative 1 here. So I can write x plus something and the another x again something equal to 0. So the two factors are x plus 2 and x minus 3 equal to 0. And the another way which I was telling you, you can do again, write x and x, and for the negative 6 you can write negative 3 and 2 and then just try cross product. You do negative 3x plus 2x, so you get negative x. Okay, so that's how you get it. Okay, now let's see if you do it x, and if you use negative 2 plus 3. Okay, because 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Now when you do the cross product, you get 3x and add it minus 2x, so it gives me positive x. Okay, so that's why this I'm not going to use it. Okay, so the my factors will be this one. Now how do I write the final factor? Just circle it. Okay, and then I combine it. You get x minus 3, x plus 2 equal to 0. So this is your final answer. Thank you for watching the video. Okay. Now next video you are going to see more examples and then finding the solution for quadratic equation.